welcome to episode 36 of the WaveBack Music Podcast. Today's episode is Rhythm Heaven Fever for Nintendo Wii. Enjoy! Hello again, this is the WaveBack Music Podcast. My name is Kris.
And I'm Vicky.
And we're here to talk to you about some of the most interesting video game music there is. Tonight we are gathering together to take in some of the most joyous music we've ever played on the show. It's upbeat, it's deceptively complex, and it is just plain fun. Tonight we listen to my favorite tracks from Rhythm Heaven Fever. Vicky, hit us with some history.
Rhythm Heaven Fever was released for the Nintendo Wii on February 13th, 2012. It's technically the third game in the Rhythm Heaven series, but since the original Game Boy Advance title never made it out here to the States, this marks the second time in the franchise has made it over to our shores, following the Nintendo DS title simply called Rhythm Heaven. In the game, you are presented with a series of completely bizarre minigames set to music where you're required to press specific buttons or combinations along to the rhythm. It features a stunningly stark art style that still looks great today, a colorful cast of characters, and, as you would expect from it being a rhythm game, some absolutely incredible music.
The composers for the game are Masami Yone, Shinji Ushiroda, Asuka Ito, and the man simply known as Sonku. Masami Yone is more of a sound department guy, but he did compose music for Kirby Tilt and Tumble. Shinji Ushiroda is most well known for his composer credit on Donkey Kong Country Returns, and Asuka Ito, who in addition to doing some film work as well, wrote music for the Pilot Wings Resort, Tomodachi Life soundtracks, and was in the sound department for Rhythm Heaven Fever. But the bulk of this game's music, and in fact the soul of Rhythm Heaven entirely, comes from Sonku. He is actually the co-creator of the Rhythm Heaven franchise. He has had quite an impressive musical career in Japan, including projects like the Hello Project and Nice Girl Project, and is the 5th best-selling lyricist in Japan, according to Wikipedia. Way to go. He's married with 3 kids who he lives with in Japan. However, in March of 2014, and this is heartbreaking. In March 2014, he was diagnosed with laryngeal cancer, which eventually led to him having his vocal cords surgically removed. This is especially crushing for somebody who clearly loves music so much, but he is still involved in his music projects, just to a much lesser degree. That is just wrong that happened to somebody so amazing. But while that is a terribly tragic, tonight we're focusing on positivity, which is some of his music, and it just exemplifies joy for me. A point about this music and the way you're hearing it tonight, though, is that it sounds very different in the game itself, because when you're playing a Rhythm Heaven game, your inputs, your button presses, actually create parts of the music. So in some cases, these button presses completely change the tone of songs, while in others, these presses actually mask some of the remarkable complexity of the compositions. It really is impressive just how good this music still is without those actual pieces of it just completely missing. You will hear me gush about this a lot tonight. There are some of these tracks, a couple of them in particular, that are just... You would never really think to listen to them as thoroughly unless you're listening to them without playing the game. And it's just incredible how complex and wonderful this music is, particularly the rhythm sections. So, Vicky, tell me your history with the Rhythm Heaven franchise.
Okay, so I actually only played the Rhythm Heaven on the DS. I think it was one of my first DS games. I originally only owned Nintendogs, and then I kind of branched off from there.
Nice. Well, it was the Beyonce commercial that got you?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Actually, no, I think Hilary Duff. I think she had a commercial.
Oh, yeah?
Anyway.
There was a Beyonce commercial for Rhythm Heaven. I remember it very well.
I feel like I remember that, too.
Because, like, she was playing the Glee Club one with the little singing dudes. And she was, like, making the funny faces when they were, like, singing.
Oh, my God. Yep.
Glee Club's incredible.
But yeah, I fell in love with that game. It was amazing. I loved how wacky all the characters were. Like,
Oh
they all had
yeah.
their cute little personalities. My favorite was obviously the monkeys.
Yes,
I
yes.
won't sing that song for you because my singing voice is only okay. Um, and
I
I always had
suppose.
like a difficult time with that game.
It's tough. Well, the DS one in particular is tough, and I never realized just how much harder it was because of the touchscreen controls until I played this one on the Wii, where it's all button presses, and it is so much more precise than the touchscreen controls.
Yeah, flicking it perfectly was so tough,
It was. It really was
especially like
a
that first
challenge.
one because you have to like flick a little, I guess, little cylinder into a hole.
Oh, you're talking about built to scale.
Is that the
With
thing?
where you make the widgets, where you've got the little bar at the back, and you have to flick the little thing. It's going do 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 do
Yes,
think. Yeah,
that one.
that's built to scale. I think I don't know if there was in the original Game Boy Advance one, but there's a different version of built to scale in the Wii version as well, which is very good. But I like the DS one best. That was actually my first impression of the game. Was built to scale. I was at when I was working at Game Crazy, I used to make these trailer DVDs, and it was after I think an E3 I made a trailer DVD, and they showed this trailer for Rhythm Heaven, and I just was tossing everything I could on there, and I remember working and it coming on, and just looking up at the screen and being like, huh, this sounds really neat because it's I think was it Built to Scale that it started with or Glee Club?
I'm pretty sure it started with built to scale.
I mean, in the game. I mean, I'm trying to think if this trailer started with
Oh,
it.
okay.
Because I remember they had Philbots, Glee Club, and Built to Scale in the trailer, and I was just looking at it at how incredibly bizarre it was, because it's weird, but also how catchy the music was. I was really really impressed by it. Yeah, that was my first impression of Rhythm Heaven. But I'm sorry, I feel like I interrupted. Go on.
Oh no, I think that was it pretty much. I mean, it was very difficult to beat. I don't even
Yes.
think I actually beat it ever.
I actually just recently beat it. I went back to play it because my son got really into Rhythm Heaven on Wii because I just thought he would get a kick out of it, and it turns out I was right. And after we had exhausted everything to do in Rhythm Heaven Wii, I was like, well, let me grab the DS one, see if he likes that too. And he does.
Yay!
And that's when I realized, oh, crap, I never actually finished this game. So I went through and finally polished off Remix 10, and I didn't get perfects on everything, but I finished everything with at least a superb, so that made me happy.
That's impressive.
And then Rhythm Heaven Megamix just recently came out, and I finished all of the stages in that. Now I'm working on all the challenges, because they have these great challenge stages now where they just group together a handful of similar mini games, and you can unlock more songs from other games that weren't in the main story mode. Yes, there was a story mode in the new Rhythm Heaven, which is absurd. But now this kind of came up with me, the idea that I wanted to do with this episode, because you had said you didn't even know there was a Wii version of Rhythm Heaven.
Nope.
And it's, in my opinion, it is superior in almost every way to the DS game, and I adore the DS game. But the Wii one, just this game, Rhythm Heaven Fever, just absolutely knocks it out of the park, and I got so much joy out of playing this game. It's one of my favorite games to come out on the Wii, and I know to some people that may not seem like a very high bar to set, but if you really go back and look at the Wii's library, there's some amazing games on that platform. Like, if you take away all the shovelware and just leave like the top releases, I mean, I'm talking about Skyward Sword and the Galaxy games. So the list just goes on and on. There's some really great stuff on that platform that I had a ton of fun with, and this is really, really high up there. And it still looks really good. It's so visually impressive, but when you get right down to it, it's the sound, it's the music that really makes it work. A little bit more so than the visuals, but it's the combination of the visuals and the sound. This game's incredible. I'm babbling far too much. This game is so good, and is, even for as many people that do know the game, it's still vastly underplayed. Like, this game deserves to be top tier, and So we're going to listen to some of this music. What I thought would be fun was that since Vicky's played the DS game, she doesn't know what these actual mini games are about. So I thought it would be fun to just tell her the name of the tracks, then listen to the song, and then see if she could tell me what was happening in the mini game. Because, for example, there's let's use the DS game as a good example. There's what is that? I think it's called Pop Star or something. The one where that song we're talking about comes
The Monkees?
from. Do with the Monkees, yeah.
Hey now, here's my song. That one.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there's this game in the DS one that's called like Singing Star or something like that. I can't remember the name of the mini game. And you would think it's just about singing, but it's actually about a little girl pop star singing to a crowd of monkeys, and it is your job as one of the monkeys to clap in unison to certain vocal cues. I believe the Wii version took the insanity just a little bit further, so it's just going to be pretty fun to figure out.
I do see a luchador wrestler over here.
Oh, you're looking at some artwork?
Yeah, just like
Yes.
the main artwork when you click on the songs.
Ah, yes, the main artwork. So when we get to Flock Step, you'll know what birds I'm talking about. All right, so we're going to start with the very first track of the evening, which is Hole in One. Hole in One is a very catchy little tune. It's not one of the ones that's all that much more complex when you listen to it without the pieces of the game music going over it at the same time. But it is a remarkably catchy tune. And if you happen to be somebody who listens to the Stone Age Gamer podcast, this is the song that we play over our commercials. So there you go. It's Hole in One from Rhythm Heaven Fever, if you ever wanted to know. So here is our first track of the night, Hole in One from Rhythm Heaven Fever. Enjoy. There you have.
Was it very funny?
It just makes me laugh. I love this. I love this music. There you have Hole in One from Rhythm Heaven Fever.
It's very cute.
It's adorable, and I have many things to say about the music. But before we go any further, what is Hole in One about?
Well, I'm gonna guess golf.
Okay, you're in the right direction.
Okay,
there is golf.
Oh my god, I don't know. Where could this golf be? It sounds like it's in a very weird, funny place. Like maybe an island.
Okay.
Or maybe what would be on an island playing golf? Toward it. Turtles, yes. I'm going to guess turtles playing golf on the beach.
Okay, you're actually remarkably close.
Oh.
You're on an island,
Yes.
and the hole for the the hole that you're trying to get the golf balls in is on another island way in the background. And you are a human, and there is also a tiny monkey and a mandrill. The tiny monkey has a basket of golf balls and will squeak and throw golf balls at you, which you then have to hit onto the other island.
Awesome.
The mandrill, on the other hand, is the alternate rhythm, which will occasionally spit a golf ball out of his mouth and throw it at you at 600 miles an hour.
Oh my God.
And he goes, "Hoop, hop, boy." It is fantastic. And they both talk to you as you're playing. In fact, one of my favorite pieces about this is that during the tutorial, it's the words all say ook ook eek, and then they're subtitled. Like, it doesn't say it out loud. It's actually written out stuff like ook ook eek, and then in parentheses whatever he's trying to say. And then right before, after you do like one or two things, he says, "Okay, now I'll switch to English." Like, it matters because it's all subtitled anyway. It's all typed out, but it's just ridiculous.
This is great.
Oh, it's fantastic. So, getting to the actual music, the walking bass line is so good in this. It's I love me a walking bass line, and this is the first game that you play in the game. It's the first proper stage, and this music really does a good job of setting up Sunku's style throughout the rest of this game, where it's overly complex, but seems very simple on the surface. And things like the bass line and, in this song, the piano, for example, other percussive instruments or percussive-ish instruments add to the whole rhythm section in fantastic ways. Like, they're really used intelligently to add extra layers of rhythm to the songs. It's just fantastic. And you gotta love the classy drums here, you know? just real good, classy drums. So what are your overall thoughts on this one?
Well, I'm glad I guessed beach because it did sound very beachy.
It does have a very good beachy.
In the beginning, I almost thought it sounded like jazz. So I was like...
It is very jazzy.
Yeah. I was like, is this in a jazz bar? But I really liked it. It does sound like kind of like almost generic tutorial music. Like, I was going to say, oh, I feel like there's dialogue rolling along the screen.
There's no dialogue when this music actually starts. There's lots of dialogue, obviously, during they do the training session when they do really simplified versions of the songs, and then they move on to the proper tunes.
Yeah.
The way the level matches the music building is really fun because, like, whales start showing up and shooting water out, and it's just wonderful. Oh, goodness. All right, let's move on to track number 2. This one, in a million years, you will never guess what this is. That's actually why I picked this one. It's a good song. It's not very long. It's not one of the best songs in the game, but I want to try to describe this because it's so absurd. And I'm really curious what you're going to get out of this one. So here is track number 2, Board Meeting. I don't think I'm going to be able to come back from any of these without laughing. Oh, so there was Board Meeting. All right, Vicky, what is this level about?
All right, so probably an office setting.
Good one.
Okay. Maybe planks, like boards, are discussing a meeting, and I don't know. What are they talking about? They're trying to motivate the speaker. That's it. That's all I've got.
All right, well, you were right about the office setting.
Okay.
You are one of 4 business pigs.
Business pigs!
They are very serious with sunglasses and business suits.
Oh!
And they are all in swivel chairs, like office chairs.
Yes.
But there's no desk in front of them. It's just 4 pigs in business attire in spinning office chairs. And you are here to present a 2 different plans to the board. There's Plan A and Plan B. And all of these plans involve the 4 pigs spinning around in their chairs as fast as they can and stopping at different rhythms. So Plan A, they all stop in different orders, and Plan B, they all stop really quick at the same time and then smile. It is insanity. It's so wonderful. Because they spin and they go, whoop, whoop. It's great.
I hope you do sound effects for all of the songs.
I might. There's a distinct possibility that could come up. So yeah, that was board meeting. As far as the actual song itself, I mean, it's fantastic. It's fast. It's
wacky.
Very wacky. Some electric guitars. It's very intense, which is so funny that it's such an intense song, and it's like these pigs very seriously spinning around in chairs as fast as they can. What did you think of this song?
I thought it was pretty, like, I can't imagine it being with the office setting, because I heard the electric guitar in the beginning. I'm like, oh my goodness, what is this?
Well, we're done. You got to catch the. Really, what you should do is download the game. Either this one just came out on Wii U Virtual Console, or download the new Rhythm Heaven game. It's a remake, Megamix on 3DS. Either one of those. Board meeting is in both of them, and it's so worth it. It's so worth it. Okay, track number 3. I love this one. This was this. I love this one. The next track is called Monkey Time. This is also not another extraordinarily complex song. It is just one of the most happy things that's ever happened in a video game. So here you go. Enjoy Monkey Time. I mean, really, with a name like Monkey Time, how could it not be insanely happy? Enjoy. Monkey Time. I swear, if you could see me dancing. I'm dancing every one of these tunes. I just can't not move. All right.
So,
Monkey Time.
Well, it kind of gave it away at the end. It has something to do with, like, time, like clocks.
Uh-huh, yes.
And monkeys.
Clearly.
They are timing each other with maybe they're making eggs. I think it's making eggs.
You've got some really good guesses here. Like, the ones that you're coming up with would certainly fit the motif. So, Monkey Time is about a watch that is powered by 60 tiny microscopic monkeys that click the second hand by giving each other high fives.
Oh, cute!
So, when you hear this whole stage, every two is a high five. And then there's other monkeys that come up that are purple monkeys that have sunglasses, and they're the cool ones. And they go on the downbeats. On the upbeats. No. So, like, you're going through the stage, and, you got, like, monkeys giving each other, like, high fives. And the two monkeys will come and go, oh, ee! And then you have to go, bah, bah. It's just wonderful. And the watch just goes around and around and around, and it's pretty close up, so you can really see the monkeys. But during that part where the strings come in and the music got all kind of serious for a minute, the camera pans out to see, like, a wrist with this watch on it, and you can see that the monkeys are actually microscopic monkeys, and so you get to see the watch, like, actually functioning. And then when it comes back in, another monkey that's just smiling and waving shows up on a hot air balloon and just floats around the screen getting in your way. So, this song, how did you feel about this song?
Wow, that was a very happy song. It was so cute. But then it got a little, like, hectic towards the second verse.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it started, like, speeding up. Yeah, the middle part. And I'm like, oh my goodness, something horrible is happening.
Yeah, the camera just panned out and got really, I think it was just designed to just give it this epic nature, because, like, you're seeing 60 tiny monkeys high-fiving each other to run a watch.
That is pretty epic.
It is indeed. I love how there's, again, with the really complex and smart bass line. Like, this, it could have gone very, very simple and been fine, but there's all these little extra notes in there that really help move the rhythm along. And the fact that they brought the overwhelming drama of that middle part where the camera pans out by adding timpani and bells to it was just like, I freaking love it. I freaking love it. And what else is really neat about this track is that you can hear the parts of the song that match up to where the purple monkeys come out, and you have to do the offbeat high fives.
There's purple monkeys?
Yes, there's purple monkeys with sunglasses.
God.
And but the thing is, it doesn't always match the drums that are happening in the song. It's really great the way that sometimes it matches up 1-to-1, and then other times they're complementing each other. There's kind of like a call and answer with the drums with these extra hits. It's really, really smart. It's just a theme you're gonna throughout the entire soundtrack of this, is that how remarkably intelligent this music is put together. It's just incredible. All right, let's move on to track number 4. This one is called Forklifter. Things to look out for in Forklifter. This one's just kind of funky. It's got a really, really good rhythm to it. Again, it's a stage that I don't know that you'll be able to put together what's going on. And I'm really curious to hear what you make of it based on this music that's happening here. But it's real funky, and I don't think there's anything in particular you're really going to want to listen to other than it just being awesome. So let's give it a whirl. Here's track number 4, Forklifter. wow, there's forklifter.
That was fantastic.
I can't get through it without laughing. Oh goodness! All right, so forklifter. Oh, I have so much to say. I'm hearing pieces of this stuff. I've been listening to this music forever, and I'm still hearing things that I didn't really pick up on before. But all right, what's your guess?
Okay,
What level? What is this? What's happening?
All right, so it sounds pretty futuristic, but like,
Okay.
you know, the 80s version of what they thought the future was going to look like.
I like that.
So I'm going to guess it's in space. And I don't know what kind of fork lifting it is. It could either be fork like the food, you know, the utensil, or an actual forklift. I'm going to go with food fork. I feel like there's a bird animal in this. Maybe a crane. I think there's a crane.
Okay.
And I don't... It's always food with me, isn't it? The crane bird is feeding... Oh, no, he's trying to eat ramen with a fork, and he cannot. Yep, trying to lift in his face.
That would make an incredible level. This is actually far more simplistic. You are right. It is a fork for food.
Awesome.
I don't know if it takes place in space. It just takes place in a giant white void. So it's entirely possible it's in outer space. Who knows? Way in the distance, and it's accentuated by a little like speech bubble looking thing that shows a magnified version. There is a hand and an unlimited amount of peas.
Ugh.
And the hand flicks the peas at you one by one in rhythm. And real close to the screen, where you are, is another hand that's holding a fork, and you have to stab the peas as they come at you and then eat them.
Oh my God.
And it all happens in rhythm. So what's neat about this one, as opposed to all the other songs that we've listened to so far, is that the music itself is really more of a backdrop to what's happening with the flicking of the peas and the stabbing of the fork. It's it very rarely specifically lines up with hits. Like obviously at that end part there where you got those staccato dun, 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 like those are like flick flick stab stab, and it's that's the one part where it really matches up. The rest of the time it's not like they don't match the rhythm. It's just not very specifically tied to it. So I guess that really freed them up to be a lot funkier with it. I mean, this is just funky as hell. It's got a very disco vibe. I love the claps towards the beginning, and again with the bass.
The claps were amazing.
Yeah, love the claps. But man, the bass is killer in this one. It's so good. And the keys solo they had going on there. Oh my goodness. This was one of those stages that I liked the first time, and the more I listened to the music, it's just like, man, this is just really funky and fun to listen to. What were your feelings on it?
Lots of funk. It did sound very 80s to me. What else? It was like, I was getting so into it in like the middle, I completely forgot that I was supposed to be like guessing what it was going to be. So I kind of like threw that out there. But yeah, I guess because the game is so simple, they had much like more freedom to do what they wanted with it.
Yeah, to really just kind of cut loose with the composition instead of tying it specifically to an action. So yeah. Great song. And fairly unique among the soundtrack. All right, now the next one, Air Rally. This is one of my favorites. This stage in particular is one of my favorites. It's just wonderful. So here we're going to go ahead and listen to our track number 5, Air Rally. Let's see, is there anything you really need to listen to from this one? Now, because you're not hearing it with the game. This is one of those ones that you really get a different feel for when you're not listening to it with the game, because there's the sound effects that go on in this one are very constant. So, all right, here it is, Air Rally from Rhythm Heaven Fever. Enjoy.
you laughing again? You're laughing again.
I swear I'm just laughing out of pure joy. I'm just laughing because it just makes me so happy. Oh boy. All right. Go. What do you got? What is Air Rally?
All right. Air. So flying.
Okay.
Could be a balloon popping game.
Ooh.
And I feel like this has like a monkey-ish theme in it. So I'm gonna guess monkeys popping balloons with airplanes. Airplanes, yes.
Okay, wow, you are very close with the airplanes.
Yes.
Really good call on the airplanes. In this stage, you are a cat and dog named Baxter and Forthington, who decide that that the best way to play a game of badminton is in planes while flying through the sky. So you are a cat and a dog playing badminton in two planes flying over just random landscapes.
That's awesome.
So this one it's very fast. The back and forth is really fast. And so, like, the whole time you're playing the level, you hear, like, pew, 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 back and forth. So a lot of the really subtleties that are going on in the background, like there's this little woodblock thing going like throughout the whole thing. It's just really, really subtle rhythm, and it occasionally changes up, and you don't even notice it, but it's doing so much to drive the rhythm. But what else is really fun is like where it goes into cut time. And it just cuts itself right in half, and that's kind of one of the main things that happens throughout this. Like, you remember Rhythm Rally, the ping pong game from Rhythm Heaven on DS?
Yeah.
So this plays really similar to that, but when it goes into the slow shots, you're signified by, I think it's Forthington, the dog, who goes ba-bom, bom, bom. And that's when you know he's going to do a slow one. And then when he picks back up, he goes 2, 3, 4. And then you go back up to the full speed ones. And what else is funny about this is that Forthington keeps changing how far away he is from you. So, like, he'll go, like, slightly farther away, and then slightly farther away, and then really far away. And what he says reflects how far he is from you. So, like, when he's like a mile ahead of you and you're still playing badminton, he goes, "Bom, bom, bom, bom." You just hear him back in the distance screaming it at you. It's so great. Oh, God. So what did you think of this one?
That was another, like, really fun song. That flute in the beginning, like, threw me off. I thought it was super silly. Sounds like a very adventurous song.
It definitely is. I mean, they've got like old school flying caps on, and they're flying over all these islands, and birds are going by in clouds. It looks great. It's really one of the better looking stages in the game, and like I said before, this game is gorgeous. So that's really saying a lot. This stage is really, really impressive looking. One of the things I love so much about this track is like, kind of like I said earlier, where they use other instruments to kind of add to the percussive nature of the song and really kind of make the rhythm seem more complex, is they did that with the horns in this one. There's kind of like later on in the song, when the horn section really comes in, there's all these staccato notes with the horns that are matching the melody of the song, but adding this extra layer of complexity to the rhythm. It's very striking. This is the reason I really wanted to listen to this with headphones if you can. If you've got the opportunity to listen to this episode with headphones, do it, because the music itself is, the closer you listen to it, the deeper the deeper you get into these songs, the more impressive they are. And none, in my humble opinion, more impressive than this next track. Track number 6 is Flock Step. This is hands down my favorite track of the night. It's my favorite track on this game's soundtrack. This is a song that, similar to Air Rally, is infinitely more similar to Air Rally in that it's more complex without the sounds of the game over it. But this one, I never noticed how much more complex. When you're listening to this, try to listen to all of the layers of drums that happen here. It's kind of broken up into 3 different sections, and each time it goes back to the main, I guess you would call it melody, they add another layer of actual drums to it, like this sort of like clicking sound that happens, and eventually hand percussion, and the way that it's using the synthesizer to really, really layer and layer over layer, so percussive, and make the rhythm just unbelievably complex and beautiful. This is an amazing piece of music you're about to listen to. I cannot stress it enough. So put your headphones on, blast the volume, and listen to the pure joy that is our track number 6, my favorite track of the night, Flock Step.
There he goes again.
Oh my god. I swear that is one of the most incredible pieces of music. I never noticed before right now the piano in it. I never even knew there was a piano there. I've got my my noise canceling headphones just pressed against my ears listening for it. The like what I was talking about with the synthesizer, just kind of the way it just cuts out in these really crazy staccato notes. I never noticed that there was a piano in the second part doing even more of that. Oh, it's ridiculous. It's such an amazing piece of music. It's so amazing. Oh, goodness. I've been looking forward to that song. All right. I'm sorry. I'm just losing my over here. I swear, I mean, I hold back a little bit on this show. I mean, I definitely geek out a lot, but man, oh man, sometimes video game music just really gets me, and this is one of those soundtracks that just kills me. I swear, you would think I would be so sick of this music, because my son has been asking us to play it ad nauseum, and even when we're not playing the game, like, he wants me to play it in the car and stuff, and I never get sick of this stuff. I've never gotten sick of it at all. It's just remarkable. Okay. I've gotten my together. Flock Step. What is your guess on what Flock Step is?
All right, so I'm going to guess flocks are these weird birds with like the tiny little wings and the long legs.
Yes, the little ones that are on the cover. That's them.
And they are in a dancing competition. And they are trying to impress a walrus judge.
Oh, I like. All right, it's this one is, again, it is a bit more simple than that, but it is also somehow shockingly more complex. So this is also, in addition to this being my favorite song in the game, this is my favorite stage in the game, because this is, again, it is just joy personified. You are these little birds that you find out in the end credits of the game are called the Hue Birds of Happiness.
Oh.
And it's just about marching. Like, all you have to do is march. So throughout the entire track, you just hear the footsteps of the marching. You're always marching on the downbeats. It's just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And every single one of those steps is a button press. So when you press the button, the foot goes down, and when you let go of the button, the foot comes back up. So you're just pressing it back and forth to match the rhythm of the other 3 pink Hue Birds. There's just 4 of you in the beginning. And there's also a kind of secondary step. Also, I forgot to mention the step sounds kind of like a suction cup for some reason. It's so strange. And then there's this other secondary step that's again on with the rhythm, but when the birds go, you have to press down the buttons, both A and B, and then let go to do a little jump. And that just goes on through the whole stage. Is just the constant of those 2 things, but it's the matter of keeping that solid rhythm. And because the solid rhythm is just the 1, 2, 3, or 4, the immense complexity of the rhythm in this. I mean, did you hear the absolute insanity that is the percussion section of this song?
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's just nuts to me how you would even think to add all these different layers. But as you're marching along, other Hue Birds of Happiness of different colors start to come in until the whole screen is just filled, top to bottom, left and right, with hundreds of these little Hue Birds all marching in unison. And it is so happy. It is just so joyful. Until you get to the middle of the song, the part where everything cuts out and it just goes down, 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 bow, bow, bow. When you're doing that, I'll never forget the first time I played this stage and I saw this. I just about lost my mind because it is, it happens. You're like, wait, what the hell did I just watch? What just happened? And you try not to lose your concentration because, so you've got this screen and it's just filled with Hue Birds. And then when it gets to that part, each button press, the camera zooms out about, I don't know, a mile. So like, each button press, it just zooms out to super far away. Then you see the country. Then you see the Earth and the atmosphere. Then you see the cosmos, and then the stars. And then it starts to pan out again, and the stars are in the eye of a Hue Bird. And then it keeps going back until it's back to where you started from, but it somehow panned out from where you were into the universe back to where you were without going in a circle. It doesn't make any sense. It's so wonderful. I swear I'm not doing a good job of explaining this because it's just, what the hell? It's incredible. Yes. How you doing?
It's great. I'm great. It sounded like J-pop to me.
There's definitely a flavor of that. I mean, There's a flavor of that going throughout this whole soundtrack, but
here it feels like that, like way more, like a cute little all-girl band, like just jumping around and singing.
I guess I need to listen to more J-pop.
Yeah, that's great.
That's oh boy. Okay, well, I've gushed about that song enough. Mm-hmm. Let's move on to the next track. Here is a very stark departure from this last track. This is Ringside. Enjoy. right, that was Ringside. I'm not laughing.
You're not laughing.
No. I love this track, but I think I might be a little spent after Flugstep. Okay, so Ringside. What do you got?
Luchador.
Definitely.
Obviously. He is tired of wrestling, and I feel like I'm describing an Owendon game, or Elite Beat Agents.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. I need to play that game again. Damn, that was a good game.
It sure was. And he wants to make friends with a lady, and he needs your help to cheer him on. What is
You're
it
not
really?
super far off. There is a lady involved.
Yes.
So this is this wouldn't work as well as it does if it wasn't played so incredibly straight. The luchador is just dead serious, and a lady is interviewing him after his match. And so you're at the rhythm arena, and the luchador is standing there dripping with sweat, just dripping, and his muscles twitching and flexing to the rhythm.
Oh.
And you are in charge of answering the woman's questions. And of course the questions they're not really in English. They're just kind of gibberish. So the woman will say, there's three different things that the interviewer will say. The most common one is, wubba dubba dub, is that true? And you respond, bruh. Just by pressing the button. The wrestler, dead serious, stark on his face, bruh. And the other option is, whoa, you go, big guy, to which you have to press the button twice, and he flexes his arm.
Yay!
Just whoosh. And then, of course, the third one is a bunch of cameramen show up and say, pose for the fans, and you press both buttons at the same time, and your wrestler goes, rah, and strikes a pose.
He's laughing now.
Oh, this is another one of my favorite stages because it is so ridiculous. It is, I can't even, you have to look at it. And this one actually kind of became a meme when this came out, because there are people who have like spliced in all sorts of other people into the wrestler's position. Probably my favorite one is the Terry Crews one, where they just replace the luchador with Terry Crews from the Old Spice commercial. Weird stuff. Oh, it's just great. It's just great. So what'd you think of this one?
This was not my favorite one. It wasn't as happy as the others. Mm-hmm. It sounded more like maybe soap opera music.
Soap opera, wrestling, I get that.
Yeah, it was a little like more dramatic than all the other ones.
Yes, this is one that I think really, really benefits from having the game involved in it. Like, I like this song only because of, as I'm listening to it, I'm saying, wubba dubba dub, is that true? Yeah. Wubba dubba dub, is that true? Yeah. Pose for the fans. Rah! As I know it in my head, it's this one really, the stage itself makes this piece, most definitely.
It was nice when it kind of like picked up towards the end. Mm-hmm. But overall, it was not my favorite track.
Indeed, same here. Not my favorite track, but one of my favorite levels. Really, really an interesting piece there. Okay, so let's move on to Micro Row 2. This is another very joyful song, but it's a little bit more rock and guitar based. Not quite as heavy as Board Meeting, but it's just a little bit more joyful rock and roll with that very specific Rhythm Heaven flavor. And I don't even know how to describe this level, so good luck with this one.
All right, thanks.
Let's listen to Micro Row 2. Micro Row 2, because this is the second version. And the first version's good too, but this one's just a little bit more rock heavy and makes me happier. So, all right. What do you think this one's about?
Okay, so I think
real far outside of the box on this one.
So, well, I'm gonna guess rowing, like rowing a boat. And it's robots. They're rowing a boat up a river. And they are trying to dodge fish.
You know what's fantastic about that description is I can actually picture that I can picture that very specifically in Rhythm Heaven art style working. This one, all right, so I guess there's technically rowing involved.
Mm-hmm.
This takes place, I think, in a fish tank.
Oh.
And you are a set of microscopic organisms with big, doofy, happy faces on them. And with each downbeat, the 2 and the 4, you are, I guess, you're swimming. So you press the button and they flap their arms, I guess like they're rowing, but they're just swimming. And each time they do that, little triangles, squares, or circles of multicolored.
Oh, they are silly looking. I love them.
Oh, you're looking at them?
Yeah.
So, yeah, each time you press the button, it does that, and it just keeps going throughout the course of the song with other different, like, combinations with little, like, tweets and little audio cues to make you do different things, and until the song's over, and then they just got big dumb smiles on their face. It's just fantastic. Oh, goodness.
I like the big gap in their teeth. It's very cute.
Yeah. They got big, doofy tooth gaps. It's delightful. What'd you think of the song?
Well, the reason I thought it was robots was because it sounded somewhat like, not mechanical, but
very technological.
Yeah, kind of like that.
Yeah. And I guess it kind of plays into that with the science-y nature of looking at it through a microscope. And
I love whenever there's like any beep booping in a song.
This song is just dripping with beep boops. This has got beep boops for days. It's like 80% beep boop.
80% beep boop.
The beep boop levels are off the charts.
Yeah, it totally tricked me in the beginning. I'm like, oh, that's going to be super like rock and roll.
It's got that the guitar's little and it just goes into yay. Oh man.
Yeah, it was a very like fun song to have like 2 different like genres almost in it. Like an electrical rock.
It's kind of at odds with itself in the most wonderful way. I guess like really musically speaking, I don't have a ton to say about it, just other than it's just a fun piece of music. It's just it's really fun. I like the second version because the first version you just have the basic 4s, and then you have these little like a chime noise will happen. You have to press tweet 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 3 of them in a row. And this second one, it gets a little bit more rock and rolly because it's also got the little toot toot, like little double taps in them that come up every now and then, and the drums match that pretty well with when it's doing the double taps and when it's doing the 3 hits and going back and forth, and it's just happy. It's just wonderfully happy. All right, this next one is our second to last track, and I
can't even begin to guess from the song title. I don't know.
Yeah, this one is really remarkable. I believe at the end, in the end credits of this game, they go through what the names of all the characters are, and when it comes to what is in this stage, the subtitle on the screen says, "These guys."
Just these guys?
That's the description. It's comma these guys question mark.
Oh my god.
And this is the largest disparity between when you're listening to the music with the game and without the game, because I'll go into more detail after it. This is probably one of the most gorgeous tracks that's in this game. It's an absolutely beautiful piece of music in a very never-ending story 80s movie kind of way, if that makes any sense. So let's go ahead and listen to it. Here's track number 9, Donk Donk. Wow, that song really, really blows me away. That's a crazy, crazy song. All right, what is Donk Donk?
Robots in space.
You're not that far off, I think. It's really hard to describe, actually.
All right, why not try?
Okay, so there's a blimp. And on top of this blimp, there are 3, I think they're tuning forks, but they also have round metal ball-bearing heads on the other end.
Oh my
so
God.
That there's 3 of them in a row,
Oh
so
my
that
God.
when they lean over, kind of like, you know that drinking bird thing that sits on people's desks, the
Ne-
perpetual motion machine?
Yep.
So like when they lean forward, kind of like that, the ball-bearing head hits the tuning fork on the butt, I guess, of the one in front of it. And on the bottom of the blimp, there's a little green snot blob thing that I think is calling out the rhythm for them to hit. And with each hit, the blimp expels air and flies through the air better. And the whole time you're flying said blimp, you're flying it through these gorgeous pink clouds, and you are heading towards rhythm heaven.
So there's like an ending to this game?
Well, I mean, that's the end of this stage. You get to the end of the stage, and there's a castle. This is not the last stage of the game, but there's a floating castle on clouds in the background. And when you beat the stage, if you get a perfect on it or a superb on it, it says, "We made it to rhythm heaven." It's like, okay. And the reason that this stage is called Donk Donk is that so you're listening to the rhythm of this song, and it's going the whole time you're doing it. There's 2 different rhythms, and this is a really hard stage to kind of get a feel for the rhythm on. The whole time the stage is going donk 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 do 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 do.
So goofy.
So you've got this gorgeous, like very majestic, flighty sounding music, and these absurd donk 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 donk.
Yeah, I just watched a video of someone playing it.
It's crazy.
It's really silly.
When next time you look at the video, like listen to it with the sound and just hear the sheer absurdity that is this entire stage.
Yeah, it doesn't fit. I mean,
and yet it works.
Yeah.
But when you listen to it separately, it's like, what? So what did you think of this music?
I thought it was very pleasant. Until I heard what it goes with.
God, this stage, that took me a lot of times. Like, I didn't really like this stage at all the first time through this game. I really came to like this playing through it again with my son because I finally really got the hang of it. And once I got the hang of it, I was like, wow, I never noticed how really impressive this song is. And then I downloaded the soundtrack and was like, holy crap.
Yeah, it's just like a really cute poppy song.
Mm-hmm. So really, I didn't get cute and poppy out of that at
No?
all. Nah, see, I got very 80s music, 80s movie music out of this one. Like, definitely with an air of cuteness to it from, like, just kind of the instruments that are used, but it feels very flying to me. It definitely exudes flight and flying to me. Very, I guess, majestic is the word I was looking for. But it is a very cool piece of music, and it's called Donk Donk. Okay, last track of the night. And thank goodness, because I'm spent. All right, so this last track is called Tap Troop. And this is just another one I want you to really pay attention to the rhythm on this, because it's badass. It's not as deeply complex as Flockstep gets. Like, there's not as many layers, but there's definitely some real good layers to it and some great instruments used. Really, really, really good percussion in this one. Wonderful, wonderful song. So let's go ahead and tap into our last track of the night, Tap Troop. Love the hand percussion in that. The bongos in that second half are just killer. All right, Tap Troop, what do you got for me?
Tap dancing.
Yes.
Tap dancing robots.
Maybe
Robots. I don't know. In front of all of the old crew. So like your little Flocks, the wrestler guy. Everyone's dancing.
I see.
Because it sounds like a finale song.
It does kind of sound like a finale song. It's not. It's not a finale song. It's one of the later levels, but it's definitely not the last. It is tap dancing, and they might be robots. It's kind of hard to tell. They're. So the way this stage is set up is you see the feet. There's 4 guys, and you see a close-up of the 4 pairs of feet. And then in the bottom left-hand corner, you see their faces, like just separate from the feet. And the whole time, you're just tap, 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 tap. 1, 2, 3, 4 on the downbeats. And then a voice will say, ready, tap, tap, tap. And you have to kind of you really have to learn the weird rhythm that ties into it, because it goes like a lot longer sometimes. Like sometimes just tap, tap, tap. And sometimes she goes, ready, tap, 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 tap. Okay. And they all yell, okay. And pop a little party popper or whatever. And it's a little strange until you get to the very, very end of it when... So you got the feet close up, and then you got the face close up, and then the camera pans out, and their legs are like a mile long. And you realize that the reason that the two separate views are because you couldn't possibly see all of them in one camera. This one has a really fun story to it. Is actually one of the things that I learned about this game in general from Sunku is that you probably noticed it in the DS version as well, is that when they make these games, Sunku had the programmers go to take dance lessons, because when you're trying to do a bunch of like something in perfect unison and one person messes up, like you'll see it in the game. Like this happens. Definitely it happens in Glee Club on the DS game, and it definitely happens in this track as well. When one person messes up, the other characters like kind of give you the side eye. So when you mess up one of your taps, you see the faces of the other guys like just kind of look at you like, this guy just screwed us up. It's a very funny little factoid there, but I love this song. How do you feel about it?
I liked it too. It was very fluffy and lighthearted.
Yes, definitely that.
What's that one? Like the main instrument, what is that? It's kind of like a wind instrument almost. Mm-hmm. It was really nice. I liked that. What else? And what is that? Trumpet. I think it's a trumpet with like a mute on it.
Yes, definitely muted trumpet. There's definitely some muted trumpet going on.
I love when anyone can like put that in the song and pull it off, because you never hear that. I mean, unless you're listening to something from like the 20s.
Yes, unless you're actually in the 1920s.
Yes.
You don't hear that too often.
But I'm glad it was like usable in this song.
Very much so, yeah.
It all fit together.
This is another really great example of, this is probably, in my opinion, one of the last like truly catchy tunes, and I'm kind of sad that I didn't get to put any of the songs with lyrics in here. There's a couple of them, not as many as in the DS game, but there's a couple with some just like bizarre lyrics in them and whatnot. But this is what I feel Sunku does just the best, is the kind of combination of the really, really killer bass line and like the organ, for example, in this one does some really great staccato notes that just kind of carry the rhythm a bit. And again, this is a stage where you're hearing all these foot stomping throughout the whole course of the stage, and you're concentrating on that, and it's kind of hard to hear all the really cool complex rhythms that are going on in the background. So it's fun. It's a really, 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 really good piece of music there, and I am happy that I got to share it with you. Mm-hmm. So, any final thoughts before we call this episode quits?
I'm glad I can finally play this game now.
Yes. I'm sorry I asked you not to play it for this silly game, but
it's okay.
It's well worth your time. You could actually, out of all the songs on here, really the only one you would be missing is Tap Troop and Donk Donk. Every other track on here is in Rhythm Heaven Megamix. It's fantastic. Megamix is really, really fantastic. It's a great collection of rhythm games from all three of the prior games, plus new ones. But with this one, you get more remixes. Because if you've never played a Rhythm Heaven game before, not you, obviously, people listening to the show, what they do is they give you a set of songs, and then at the end of each line of levels, they give you a remix where they throw elements from all of the other songs together, and you have to, like, in quick succession, go back and forth and remember how you got down all these rhythms and play them in the songs. And there are remixes in Megamix, just not as many as are in prior games. Other than that, it's just a fantastic package. You really can't go wrong with it. I got my fingers crossed that there's going to be a Switch version. I doubt it, because this isn't exactly a huge franchise, but I would love to be able to sit back and play this on my TV, because
that'd be nice.
The one thing that I do miss about the Wii version over the 3DS version is the size of the buttons. Like, you're pressing this giant A button, and then I switch over to the 3DS game, and I'm pressing this little tiny A button to tap along to the rhythm. But these games, I would love to see what this stuff looks like in HD, because it's all this gorgeous, very thick-lined, almost Gendy Tartakovsky style artwork to it. It's really, really great looking stuff, and it would be really, really nice to see in HD on my television. But I don't know, I guess we'll find it on Thursday.
Yay!
If you're listening to this at some point in the future, we're recording this episode a few days before Nintendo officially unveils all the stuff on the Switch, so we're all pretty excited over here. But okay, so that's going to be our show. Thank you very much again for listening and putting up with me laughing like a madman through this music that just makes me happier than anything has any right to. Tune in next time as we listen to music from Lost Odyssey for the Xbox 360. This is a Nobuo Uematsu joint, right?
Yep. Finally.
Yep. Finally, this is Vicky's pick. I've never played this game before. I know almost nothing about it except for the protagonist appears to have very greasy hair.
Oh, you leave him alone.
I remember the cover art, and I remember looking at the cover art and thinking that dude needs to wash his hair. It's very important to me. As always, we'd love to hear everyone's thoughts and memories of these games, so you can give us some information, send us some feedback over on the WaveBack Facebook page. Just search for WaveBack on Facebook, and you'll find out more information on our next games, as well as a nice, convenient place to talk about them. Of course, you can always still send us an email at mail@geekade.com, and while you're at it, check out all our social media channels, which you should totally follow, /like/subscribe to if you haven't already. We have gotten a couple of requests for some games coming up soon. I also have some pretty big plans for a special segment. Me and Vicky are going to talk about it after we're done recording here, and there's good stuff in the future. I hopefully will be able to bring you lots more of these because I do love doing this show. So be sure to check out all the other great content we have on our site over at geekade.com. Vicky, you also have a website to plug?
Yep. I also write on justrpg.com, so come and have a listen. Oh, we also have a podcast too, so yeah, go listen to that.
Yes.
Read what I write.
Listen to the articles and read the podcast. Thank you again for listening. Good night, everybody.